is going to be Vik7 versus Boba, and these players both in the chat, and I um don't know who wins this. I tried to keep it unspoiled, and I was not. I was given a rep, maybe a fake rep. We'll see. So this is interesting here. This is a TVZ, I believe. And gotta create the game. Here we go. So, Circuit Breakers. This is a map which I feel like is pretty Z favored, and well, I think it's a bit of a consensus. Because the gas is harder to defend. Well, actually, sorry, I'm thinking of PVZ. TVZ, it's a little bit different, but the things in the middle of the plateaus there are really good for Zerg in pretty much every matchup.
I'd say, it's definitely better for. I'd consider Fighting Spirit better for advantage Terran in TVZ. Definitely,
yeah, for sure.
So I'd say Circuit Breakers is definitely more balanced than that for TVZ, but generally TVZ, unless you're playing Sparkle, I would most of the time give Terran the advantage.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, it's these map advantages. They're a slight.
It's very slight, especially at the at like B team level. Like we're not the guys affected as much by the balance.
It's all the balance, man.
We've got a slow split from our yellow Zerg.
Yeah, I think he wasn't really in there.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Sometimes it starts a little abrupt on you.
All right, so our second matchup, the yellow Zerg on Circuit Breakers. It's BobaLife 4-team supply block.
Okay. And then the brown Protoss in the bottom left, we've got Vik7 from Scientology vessel.
Vik7. So, haven't is he gonna go Gate or Forge first? What's your prediction?
I feel like Gate first has sort of people have gone sort of back into Forge first. Gate first is kind of something you mix in. But you can obviously go Gate. I generally think most of what I see has been back to Forge first.
Yeah, I think Forge first, safer. It's a little bit easier to execute for a B team level. Gate first. I remember, like, pretty much when I started playing seriously a few years ago, Gate first seemed to be there's Gate. Interesting. Vik7. A little bit surprised.
Well, it's all based on execution.
Yeah. So I mean, if you can pull it off, like I think the reason why Gate first is a Korean meta for players like Bisu, people who are really good at PvZ, is because if executed well, it does delay the Zerg. I mean, definitely does delay the Zerg, and will put you ahead a little bit more than a Forge first does. Forge first is more relying on your cleanness of build order versus the Zergs. And Gate first is relying on your micro to get the Zerg behind.
Yeah, my mistake. There was a bit of a mix up. Okay, so yeah, I agree with you what you're saying on Gate first. But generally what I had seen, even at like top level meta, was that Zergs were getting so good at dealing with the Gate first that they were swapping back into Forge. Over like the last couple months, you see like Gate mixed in more. But like at B team, at our sort of level, if you're good with executing the Gate wave first, then it puts a lot of pressure. They don't get to drone up. It just throws the Zerg off their game.
Yeah, Boba was trying to 12 hatch here, but Vik's probe deny has been on point, so that's something to note. It's just annoying, and
we do have him taking the interesting hatch. Top left.
Oh, right, I missed that.
Top left natural. That's generally you'd see him take the natural if you're gonna take the natural of another main, then you'd see him take it up at the 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, in a certain sense, I think that the what's it called, 10, 11 o'clock hatch, it's an aggressive hatch, but if you're able to pull it off, it gives you a ton of map control because the Broadus is really blocked in from all the different sides. And meanwhile, the Zealot of Vik is coming in here, but it's just going to get straight up denied. That's the danger of going gate first if your Zealot is slow, like Vik's was, is that you can just lose them, and that's 100 mils down the drain for Vik.
What is this probe doing for Vik, the top of the map? I thought maybe it was going for an incredible cross-map scout right off the bat, but it wasn't. Maybe he's just going to try to slip in a probe a little late.
Interesting. Maybe it's going for some sort of proxy later, or maybe it's just a scout. We'll see. But so Vik's cannon's delayed, but he's got 2 Zealots here. Although that is so annoying. As Protoss, that just happened.
Oh yeah.
He let in 5 Zerglings here.
Let's see. Is speed is about to finish.
Okay.
Speed just kicked in. These are going to be so hard to kill.
Is the probe drill on point?
Are gonna have
Ooh, actually, decent angle with the Zealots. Picked off a lane. And the cannon is up. Boba's just deciding to book it.
I would have thought he could take out that cannon and then flood more Zerglings. But
he honestly could have stayed in the main for a while with speedlings.
A long time. I have no idea why you would go out of there. You could just continually keep picking off the probes that are mining from the outer patches. And the slow Zerglings, or the slow Zealots, can't really do much about it.
Yeah, and it's an APM drain too. Really, until you get Zealot speed, that would just be a nightmare for Toss.
But we do have this probe coming in for a late scout. And he sees nothing mining at the natural of the of Boba.
And is +1... Okay, +1 just started. That's a late +1. Very late. And...
I can't talk about late
+1. Yeah, I mean... I think... I'm not totally sure. I mean, it's not the latest, but it's pretty late. He's certainly not going to be executing one of the crispest, 7 o'clock Zealot timings at all. He lost a couple probes there, so that put him behind. And the Stargate's pretty late as well. And there
are... but the key is going to come down to when he discovers this base and what he does about it, his reaction. Because this is pretty much, if Boba is able to keep this up, he's going to be at an advantage. If it gets taken out, the game's probably over.
Yeah, and this is something right now, if Vik was going for a Zealot push, which basically is kind of my standard, 7 and 10 Zealot push is strong. If it's coming in here soon, there's very little SimCity up. Okay, you got 1 sunken at the 3rd, but in the Nat, the SimCity is just now coming up. So this is where a push out can be really strong if a push is going to hit in about 10 seconds. That's scary, but +1 is only halfway done. Legs is...
Citadel's just coming up.
Miles away. And it looks like Vik is going to wait to move out until he has 3 Corsairs, which is interesting.
Vik is scouting for a base at the well, I guess we'd call this would be 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 2.
3 o'clock position. He's got his probe there. That probe has done a decent job getting some good scouting information so far, but he still pretty much has no idea. He hasn't scouted the top left. He hasn't scouted the top right either. But maybe he figures something is up there.
Yeah, and this is interesting here. Vik7 is really missing out on a lot of opportunities here. If he would have moved the Corsairs over earlier, he could have gotten a significant number of Overlord kills. And as it is now, There's one Spore up, and it's going to be defending pretty much all of these Overlords. So that's a huge missed opportunity there. And, of course, also the Zealot attack delayed. So he's not going to be able to get much done.
Ooh, these Overlords aren't protected, though.
Yeah, the Spore is mutating, so he might get... He's going to probably get 2. So, nice small pickup there. Oh, actually just deciding to settle for 1. I think if he would have microed properly there, could have easily gotten that last Overlord. But she's choosing to be safe. And with cool...
Yeah, we've got a good amount of units at the top left, still unscouted.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing here is you want to see the Corsairs used to scout. Like, that's the real importance of the Corsairs for the Protoss, is you want to see them scouting all the potential bases. And it just really hasn't visited the any of the potential, naturals. And we might have Boba taking a 4th right here in the upper left. Maybe.
Looks like Vic's going to catch another Overlord. And yeah, like you said, it's totally right. The Corsair's first priority is to scout. That's why I think saving up to 3 is a bit of a mistake. You need to send the first one in and scout. And that actually allows you to see if there's more Overlord opportunities, then you can get some good kills. But he was playing in the dark there for a while, which was pretty risky. And meanwhile, Boba's got a nice SimCity up. He's going to be taking a 4th. And that is the advantage of that far third style, is that you do get, you can get your 4th and future bases up faster.
He has to know, having flown over these 2 bases, there's not a Hydralisk den at these first 2 hatches, but he sees Hydralisks. So doesn't he have to be thinking there has to be another base?
Yeah, I mean, I would.
But yeah,
this
is really SimCity'd up. Like, this is what you want to have as a Zerg. We've got Speed Hydras. They may have range. I'm not quite sure, but they probably should. The Hydralisk upgrades are pretty quick. But what's really big is these double evolution chambers. He has +1 carapace and +1 range attack right now on these Hydras.
Yeah, and Vic's Templar Archives is super late. So he has plenty of Zealot Goon to counter this Hydra force. But if this was a lot more Hydra pressure, then he would be in a pretty scary situation here. Now, luckily, his gate macro has been pretty good, though. His 3rd came out at a good time. So he should be able to handle this just fine.
And he's got a good little Dragoon count, with Dragoon range finished as well.
But I mean, that late storm, that could bite him. He's gonna be able to.
Okay, we're gonna see if he sees these Hydras coming down. No, he doesn't. Those Corsairs did not see them. I figured they did. He's just about to scout the top left. He sees the creep.
That's only 2 control groups of Hydras, though. It's not that many. And Storm's already started. This is plenty of Zealot Goon here. Going to be dealing with this. The micro is pretty decent, forcing the Lings to walk a ton, but the Goons here going to be dealing with this just fine.
Yeah, it's just not a very big group of Hydras. But as soon as you lose these Zealots, the Dragoons will not trade well against Hydras. Oh, but sort of a micro mistake there. I think he pushes too far up.
Yeah, pushes up. Gets a few Goons, though.
Ooh, you don't want to push in with only a couple of Hydras into this.
Yeah, I think he traded decently there. Maybe two Hydras.
Yeah, that was fine. Once you get past the Zealots, the Hydras trade efficiently against Dragoons, because the Dragoons aren't doing full damage.
Yes.
The Hydras are.
The thing is,
and the Hydras are much cheaper.
Now Vic is just playing it macro heavy, which I like. He's getting his 4th here, which in a PvZ, 12-minute 4th is pretty fast. And, Storm is done. It's a super late Storm. But now he has it, and his gateway production, he's been on top of it. He's doing a good job with his gate production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he has been pumping observers for a while, so any sort of, he doesn't need to be afraid of lurkers at the moment.
And there's not too many Hydras out on the map. I'm wondering, Boba, he's actually been droning up. He's got lurkers researching.
Yeah, he is droning pretty heavily.
But,
which is, obviously, that's a good economic move. He's spending all his minerals. He doesn't have... Vik has more of a mineral bank. We've got Surge coming in. Maybe we'll see... Lurker aspect is halfway done. If he's able to get some more turtling up done with lurkers, as long as he's on 4 bases, he's going to be in a solid position. Turtled up behind his Sim City with lurkers. He actually has 4 evolution chambers, so he actually can't. He has one evolution chamber that can't even upgrade.
yeah, in this situation, wondering what you think, but Vik7's doing really good here. He's about 80 supply ahead, and he's going to be on 4 bases soon. His probe count is healthy. His gates building placement is weird, but that's the only thing I can see that's a little bit off with this play. He's taking a 5th right now, which is pretty insane. A lot of times,
yeah,
when Protosses get up,
I'd like to see him cannon up more at this at the 6.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I'm a big fan of when you've got these extra minerals like he has, drop like 5 cannons, because you're gonna, unless you want to make it so they need Dark Swarm to take down your expansions.
Yeah.
If they're gonna do that, because okay, the thing that's allowing Vik to expand like this is that we have the turtling Zerg, but the turtling Zerg is also not really focused on harassing. He's focused on sort of getting his, but he's not aware of the bases that Vik is taking on the map. And that's sort of the, anytime you're turtling, a lot of times you're not exactly aware of what your opponent's doing.
Yeah, and Boba needs expanded quite a bit.
Whoa. A couple of Stargates being built at the 6 o'clock.
That's interesting. Carriers? Maybe Scout, Mass Scout.
Could be Mass Corsair.
That actually interesting here. There's Zealots pushing in here, but this is a Sim City that he does not...
Yeah, that's a Sim City. And you need Storms to take out the... If you just want to go for the Sunkens, then you need Storms to take out the Hydras.
Okay, here we go. There's an engagement of Hydras, but it's kind of piecemeal. He's getting some Storms off, and honestly, there's just so few Hydras here. Both armies are kind of engaging out of place. There's some Zealots that are getting massacred up north by the Hydras. So Vik's army is scattered everywhere, and he needs to get that consolidated really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, but we also have kind of piecemeal just groups of of Hydras just fighting in the mid-map. I'm curious to see what he does with these. You can go into like a Mass Corsair style, and then use like DT and Reavers kind of thing. You don't usually see it, but you can do it. Carriers, you can do that, but carriers, I mean, if they have Defilers, then all you need is Dark Swarm or Plague, and then you're in a rough position.
Okay, so what just happened right there was Boba just really outmaneuvered Vik. Vik's army on paper at the beginning of that would have crushed Boba's army if the Storms were all appropriated. Nice. But the thing is, like, that was a really good positioning for the Hydras. They got so many, and meanwhile they're marching in and gonna take the 5th. Not like Vik really needs it.
No probes here, but still, it's good to take out this position. And we're finally sort of seeing a ton of Hydras coming in. But you also want to see, okay, there are Dark Templar here now versus no Overlords.
There's no Storms, which I think Vik built like 4. Okay, well he morphed them, but I think some of those Archon morphs was unnecessary. He needs Storms with this army.
Yeah, the thing that there's no detection there for Boba. That 4 DTs ruined his day with that army.
Yeah, there's Overlords that are coming in here though, so the DTs are should get cleaned up pretty soon. The fighting, honestly, both armies, they're not clumped at all. It seems like they're just moving around. Also, looks like it is carriers. I did predict right.
Yeah, no, I wasn't predicting carriers. You can do it though.
No, I was predicting carriers, is what I said. Now, not that I get much satisfaction from predicting things right, but the Hydras, yeah, this is interesting here. Both players have been kind of sloppy with their micro of their armies here, and it looks like Vik's trying to take a base up at the north here.
It is scouted by a Hydra.
I mean, there's aggressive bases, then there's this going down at the 1 o'clock. Hopefully gets the cancel there. Not like but he's banking a ton of minerals, and he's not anywhere near.
We've got a massive mineral bank here.
And he's just.
I find this carrier strange. Like personally, you play Protoss. Yeah. What do you think of carriers in PvZ?
I think this game, I like it because so Vik was so on top of expanding. He had a decent gas income, and if Boba doesn't see him coming, I think right now the carrier's utility can just be to surprise a base while the main army's engaging, and can shut down like this main here, get some of the tech. Other than that, though, against Hydras, they're pretty terrible, honestly. So they're going to be a surprise force. Looks like he might reveal them here, which would be a mistake.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't. I'd like him to pull these back because low number.
Oh, he just revealed interceptors. Not sure if Pupil was seeing.
It's just kind of. Oh, that's a good storm. But he's sort of throwing piecemeal units across the bridge.
Yeah, and this Hydra concave, this is.
We do have overlords here.
Yeah, so the Hydras are just getting kind of tied up by the carriers. He's just bleeding interceptors at this point. And it's really surprising how few storms Vik has here. I think that's really unwarranted. If he had 5 storms here, he could have cleaned this up.
Yeah, because this is a really Hydra-based army. Like we're not seeing a switch into like Lurkerling or Ultras. So you have to have carrier.
GG.
Oh man, a GG. Okay.
Huh. I'm kind of bummed for Vik7 because I feel like in a lot of ways that game was his to lose.
I do. I feel like he had great macro. He was starting a 5th base ahead of the Zerg. I feel like if you drop 6 cannons at it doesn't necessarily stop that. He was able to save that 9 o'clock for a while, but I just feel not enough Templar versus Hydra-based army. Like you were saying over and over again, he needed more storms, and then the late tech. Generally we're seeing late techs into Reaver for extra splash, and there just wasn't enough splash. Carries are expensive.
Yeah. Thank you for the follow, whoever that was. I didn't see it. Okay.
But a very well played game, I thought.
Yeah, nicely done. And in those situations, what I would have done, my 2 cents would be, when your opponent's going heavy Hydra, all you need to do is have enough storms, and then trust in the blanket storms, and you should be fine. And well-timed push with enough goons will be great.
Yeah, you need the right balance of the Zealots, High Templar. You can mix in some Dark Templar, and the Dragoons for taking out Lurkers. He had the Zealots. He had a good Dragoon count. There weren't that many Lurkers in the army, and you just saw not enough storm, which obviously just shreds Hydras.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think a lot of Protoss players at this level can get a little bit too Storm Goon heavy. I think I've been victim of that a lot of times. And then you're not prepared for the wing. Oh, thank you, the VR daddy. Can you guys see that in the stream? Yeah, you can. Cool. Okay. Nice. Set up Streamlabs, so making sure it works. Oops.
Here, let me join the lobby.
Sorry, I accidentally just started without you again. Yeah, Boba, looks like Boba was watching. I think you got away with a bit of a steal there. But good job. You capitalized on his mistakes, so.
Yeah, you do have to say the cross base, him getting that cross base natural meant the Protoss can't take that. And that's sort of cutting off the natural way the Protoss wants to expand in that situation. Because you don't you never naturally want to expand towards a Zerg as a Protoss, because then a couple dark swarms, all they have to do is walk a defiler over to your base. You want to expand away from him. So him cutting that off meant Protoss doesn't get that natural. He doesn't get that free, like 4th or 5th base. So that was actually an underrated part of that game, I think. Because like we said early, like if he's able to hold that, he's at an advantage because it's not a base you usually can take. But if it gets taken out, you likely lose.
Yeah, and his SimCity was also really good. I mean, the Zealot push was so delayed, but I mean, there was so many factors that led to it being delayed. But if that was a well-timed Zealot attack in the Nat, could have been a little bit scary. But so that didn't happen. Then Boba was just able to get some next level SimCity.
And take advantage of that free 4th that you get by taking that natural.
Yeah, and like we said, Circuit Breaker's a little bit of a Zerg favored, just with the expansion patterns. But for Game 2, we'll be on Taucross for Week 4, and the Orange Protoss down a game. It's Supply Blocks of Vik7. Right, no, it's Scientology Vessel, right?
Yeah, Scientology Vessel Vik7.
There we go.
And then bottom right of Taucross, our winner of Game 1, our Teal Zerg, Boba, for Team Supply Block.
BobaLife. I'm wondering if that's from Star Wars, like Boba Fett. Yeah. BobaLife.
He'll probably say in chat.
That was one of the games that defined my childhood, was Battlefront 2 on the Xbox. Boba Fett, one of my favorite heroes. No, it's a drink.
I'm interested to see what sort of build we have here. Do we see Gateway first again? Do we see Forge? I messed up the wall in on Taucross last time I did make it in this position, and then that looked pretty silly. So I think particularly in this position, I hate the wall on Taucross. I just don't like Taucross for PvZ in general.
Yeah, Taucross, that's a terrible map. I don't like it as well. And
yeah,
it's imbalanced. It's terrible. But going
it's a fine map. But,
yeah. Imbalanced is code
the
for.
The only thing I like as a Protoss is if you slip into the Zerg's base and then you stick a probe in so they can't, and then you cannon rush them. You block off their thing so they can't get Zerglings through. That's the best. That's the only good thing.
So I'm sorry to derail this a little bit, but Boba said it's a drink. I have no idea what that means. Wait, Boba's? That's odd. Is it like a soda? Or a Coke? I don't understand. Maybe you can help me with that, Boba.
So we had expansion first, and then a spawning pool. Are we going to see gas now? We are. Okay. So this is little different.
Yeah, the hatch didn't get delayed for days like I did last time.
Oh yeah, of course. And we did have the gateway first again from Vik. One zealot on its way down. Spawning pool's not finished yet, so we'll see how this goes.
So the Nexus at 16. I think last time, did he go Forge first? Is Forge after Gate?
I think so.
Okay.
I thought so. So let's see. 6 Zerglings coming up.
And we got the Zealot and the Probe, the traditional fighting force of the Protoss. Coming in, going to start getting some chip shots on that net. There's 6 links out. And I'm kind of guessing, based on past micro experiences, that this will just get chewed. And
let's see. Take out the probe first. That's a good move.
Yep.
Trying to surround a bit.
And loses both.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually pretty efficient for Boba, because generally you're willing to trade. You're probably willing to trade 3 Zerglings for a Zealot. And he lost 2 for a Zealot and a probe. So.
And this is actually looking a little bit scary here. He might lose the second Zealot. And there's no Forge.
Yeah, there's no Forge here. And there's no probes blocking either.
Oh, it looks like the Forge just finished in the main. It's an odd place to build it.
Okay, but we have the block off. I don't think that's a wall, is it? That one Zealot?
If it's dead middle, it might be.
Maybe.
If it's on a Thursday.
I think he's gonna try to block with both probe and. Okay. Yeah. Is he? This might be a full wall.
No, the pylons are never tight. I hate this. Talcross is hard to get this wall right.
Yeah, and this is like not the like you want the probe for. I mean, you want the like I walled it incorrectly as well, but you want the pylon further, the first pylon further back to the left, like equal with the like
that
even with
first
the wall.
Yeah. And I think Boba just missed an opportunity there. I think he could have gotten in and passed there before the wall was up. Maybe she didn't scout. And the third, she's putting the third up, so that's a good timing for her. Wait, I'm sorry, is Boba a guy? I don't remember. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, anyways.
Just default, I usually go with guy.
Yeah.
Playing StarCraft before.
Okay.
Unless it's our teammate.
Sure.
Hot dog water.
Yeah. So the Citadel going up and getting
and
that.
We had +1 on a more regular, closer to regular time.
Yeah, this is gonna finish up around 7:10, or 7:20. So that's a good timing, respectable, and Zealot legs as well is a decent timing. So if he continues to pump Zealots, he's building a gateway now. This might be a decent Zealot timing attack.
Yeah, and we have the third base, obviously, in the natural of the upper right for Boba. 4 Zealots pushing out a little bit. Yeah, attack some Zerglings.
But as hard as it is for Protoss to secure their nat, the SimCity for Zerg is just really good on Talcross. I say even better than Circuit Breakers. Well, yeah, it depends on which side it is here. It's even better. So, and Boba's been on top of it, so I think she will get that up. All right, so 7:10. It's the window of time for the Zealots to move out. It's just started, and it looks like I'm going to be my +1 prediction is going to be off. It's going to be 7:37, something like that. And yeah, so this is a late Zealot attack, but if it goes to the third, it might be able to get something done. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. He actually has, for some reason, there's about 3 Zealots just standing in the main.
You have the rally
from up now.
Yeah, the rally from the second gate's kind of weird.
Okay, so we've got 10 Zealots they'll probably go for the third. That's, I think, the right move. But because you're not going to get anything done at this natural. It's too well secured for Boba.
He hasn't scouted it though, so he doesn't know that.
But I think actually a key thing, very late Corsair, right? There's not even a Corsair out.
Yeah, there's been no scouting from Toss, so he doesn't know where to hit.
Yeah, the first Corsair's just coming out. He'll probably scout it. See, but the third could be more well secured. There's only one sunken there now. Okay, but Boba, Vik is heading up to the top right. He's gonna scout it.
Yeah, and Boba should have.
I think with these zealots, he can take out the third base. If Vik's, how did he not scout it?
Yeah, the reactive creep colonies are super late. They could have been finished by now if he put him down once he saw the zealot force.
Oh, Vik is still not. He still actually hasn't.
Oh, this is painful. He's missing the window of opportunity by just enough. We'll see.
He's attacking his own zealot as well, right here.
Okay, he's getting in, and he's able to wrap some zealots around on the one sunken. The drones are blocking, though.
These sunken's finished. This is gonna be held.
Okay, it looks like just enough zealots have got in that he might.
Yeah, I think he can do it now if there's no Hydra reinforcement. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, but
it could have been much more cost efficient if he had gotten there before.
Yeah, and the reinforcing Hydras are gonna do okay. So he might the only damage he does might be only sunkens, and he might not even get anything of value done. He's targeting on the Evo.
If he's able to take out that Evo with the +1 carapace, I don't think so.
He left one zealot back. That was a smart decision. He might get it, although the Hydra's cleaning this up. This is going to be close. Nah, it's not going to get it.
Yep. Okay, so a decent amount of damage done. But he doesn't take out the base. And now there's enough Hydras here.
The difference between that attack possibly winning him the game was that he didn't scout. And then he sent the zealots, of course, to the Nat first, and then was slow on moving them to the third. So that's the window for the zealot attack is tight. You know, I've even been practicing it a ton, and I feel bad for Vik7. I think if he cleans it up and incorporates some scouts, then he'll be able to make that way more effective in his games. 5 evolution chambers are up right now.
Yes.
Because why not? And I guess.
Well, one thing that was noticeable was how quickly the upgrades come for Boba. Throughout the last game, obviously, when you're building that many evolution chambers, I'd hope. Interesting that continuing to use this almost dead evolution chamber to upgrade carapace. I would have used one of the healthy evolution chambers to upgrade.
Oh, I guess he canceled it. That's a bummer. Huh.
What do you mean?
Because it was a lot more done than that. I thought maybe he canceled it.
When no. The +1 carapace finished.
Oh, right. This is +2.
That's +2.
Right. Okay.
But I'm saying when you started the second carapace upgrade, I would have done it on one of the non-damaged.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's just a small issue.
Right. Now,
but so we've got the third base, obviously, and we've got gateways out in the middle of the map.
This is just really interesting. Vik does not like Storm. He likes getting a big gateway ball first, which most Protoss players play it the exact other way. You get the Storm first, you defend, then you get your gateway ball. Storm is a ways away.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's sort of a different style.
He's getting plasma shields before Storm, which is odd.
Okay. Yeah, that is that's different.
His
But
gate.
I think he's got enough to hold back, and definitely.
Yeah, and he's kind of just pilling some troops in here and there. Vik7 lost a decent amount there. Just killed one of his own probes.
Interesting. But so we've got a decent gateway count. We've got 9 gates up. It really is interesting. He's got observatories and everything up before his Templar are coming in, which it's not a bad move. It protects you against any sort of lurker pushes. But you know, we're seeing Boba go for really heavy Hydra. You know, like this is almost a complete Hydra armies, and we're just seeing no High Templar. We do have Dark Templar coming out, and no Overlords with the armies in mid-map, so they can do some work. But we see it again.
Yeah, Storm is but maybe
it's
halfway.
It's the counter to you know, these Hydra-based armies, but we're just not seeing it.
Templar's just coming out now, but yeah, the DTs might delay him. Oh, actually, there's one Overlord there. I misspoke.
Yeah, there is an Overlord there. That just moved up. But yeah, when you're okay, he sees this with this massive ball of Hydras. Not quite massive, but pretty good sized ball of Hydras. A couple groups. And one Templar with energy. But Storm is not done.
Storm seconds away. He's moving in here. DT is doing a decent amount of work out of range of the Overlord. Storm is done.
See the Storm.
Oh, he lost.
Oh, loses the Templar. That one doesn't have energy.
Oh, that was huge. And he's losing more High Templars. They're trickling in. Although the gateway force of Vik will just clean that up.
Yeah, we do see those Hydras wiped. And he loses the Overlord too. But he's got this turtled up third base. His drone count is it's low at the natural, but it's okay at the main, and it's middling at the third.
Yeah, and Boba's getting his 4th a lot later than he did last game.
Yeah, I think he was trying to be a little more aggressive, but I feel like he could have just sat back, taken his bases, and turtled up against this style. Because if he realistically had lurkered up and with SimCity, you need you need at least High Templar and maybe like Reavers to take that out. It doesn't seem like that's Vik's style.
Yeah, you certainly need a mostly goon army to attack into those SimCities. Vik, who's banking quite a bit, he's banking about 3K right now. He's taking a 5th. Or a 4th, excuse me. Which is just interesting. About the same time as the Zerg.
And again we see... Well, no, remember last game he 12 4th, which, you know, we thought that's pretty early. This is obviously a different map, much fewer bases on this map. But we have... Yeah, it just doesn't seem like he's like a big... into getting a bunch of splash in his army.
Yeah. And
which I find is really what you need against Zerg.
This push out from Vik, he's almost maxed, about 15 supply away. Might end the game.
This base.
Boba's hasn't been macroing great. 4th was late, and only about 70 supply. That's insanely low. A couple of storms, and the game is over. I think we're going to see this now.
He needs to pull back to his he lost too many units there. He doesn't want to be fighting this Protoss army when he's not defending with his SimCity, because that's how he trades efficiently. Okay, he does have a big group of Hydras. There's no High Templar here.
Oh, there's High Templar in the back.
Oh,
that was a nice storm.
And there's why you want Psy Storm.
It's a pretty good unit.
Yeah, I'd say that those two storms shifted completely what we could have seen there. Because if we just have two massive groups of Hydras, then the Protoss has a harder time there.
Yeah, I mean that's why Storm is the meta.
Yeah, that's why people use Psystorm.
I think a meta is a little bit of an understatement.
That's why the entire Protoss versus Zerg play style is based around High Templar.
Yeah.
Fighting Hydras in the mid game.
Sorry.
But as long as Boba is able to have 4 bases, as long as his bases are not just killed off, there's still a shot if he's able to turtle up. Because we've seen it.
Yeah, I want to point something out here.
I don't think so. There's no sunkens at this 3rd base, so this is just going to get taken out.
Yeah, I think this push will end it here. Just want to point out, though, Vik7, his macro has not been good during this time. He hasn't reproduced quite quickly, and his gates are scattered everywhere, so he's not able to get them all on one screen. So that's something he's going to want to improve on, although his attack should just mop it up.
Yeah, but one thing I will say, he mixes in a good amount of Dragoons, which a lot of times you see Protosses go far too heavy on Zealots. I do it myself. I go way too heavy on the Zealots. Because you need the Dragoons in case they've got the Lurkers. You can take out Overlords, you can take out whatever they've got, and you can't get straight up countered by mutas showing up. Like, for example, if Boba were to pop out a couple mutas and snipe High Templar, if you have no Dragoons, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I think he's done an okay job with his unit mix, other than more Templar. More Templar.
Yeah, and his aggressive expanding, the macro, his macro's been decent, but it's honestly just a shade of what it could be. It could be way stronger if his gates were producing constantly, and he had even more. I mean, he's been banking a ton, pretty much at any single point past the mid game.
And I think this 4th base is going to go down, and I think this should be the game. I mean, as soon as the 3rd base goes down for the Zerg, it's pretty much game, but this should be it. So I think we should be seeing a game 3 here. Should be seeing Crossing Field, which I'm happy about because I really like Crossing Field in PvZ.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to play it a couple times. I need to practice it, but I don't know. At first, I didn't like it. Then I started liking it a little bit.
I find I really like it because a lot of the times what you find is the Protoss has issues getting that 3rd base, the 3rd gas, because Protoss is dependent on a lot of the units that you want to get are the High Templar, the Dark Templar. You want to be building Corsairs, and eventually Reaver. So you need gas. And you can get that. Obviously, there's limited gas in the back natural on the Crossing Field.
Right.
But you'll find that you are at least getting a limited 3rd gas. And you can get those High Templar out. You can get all that out. And it's harder. It's hard for a Zerg to take to turtle up a 4th on Crossing Field, which I just find really frustrating to go against.
Yeah, I think there's kind of like a swing in the balance in Crossing Fields. I think for PvZ, early game, it does favor the Zerg a little bit because Protoss doesn't have that gas. But then in the mid game, like you said, Zerg has a hard time getting the 4th. But then if Zerg can survive into the late game, it's really good for Zerg because they can get those far bases that are so defendable with, Dark Swarm, Nidus, Lurker.
Yeah, if you get those closed in bases, the ones that are the 2 that are right across from each other that sort of have the narrow choke, if you get those with Lurkers and Dark Swarm, how is a Protoss going to take those out? And so we just have Boba quit, I guess. He couldn't retake a 3rd, so it makes sense. He was running out of money.
Yep, and Vic banking 7K there. Nicely done. Yeah, Boba's saying she or I don't know. I don't know if she or I'm saying he now. GG'd. Sometimes the replay doesn't show it. That's fine. We're not doubting your StarCraft.
Oh, we're just gonna straight up say Boba is obviously a BM.
I think we all knew it from the beginning.
I think we all knew it from the CPL Discord. No. No. But no, I'm looking forward to seeing this game 3. I really like this map. But I would like 1 minute, if that's all right. I'm having a bit of a.
Oh sure, yeah, I'll wait. All right, so I guess we're just gonna wait a little bit for Avan to come back. So we've got in the chat here, we've got Scaramanga. Boba's in the chat. There's a good, yeah, I've had some of those games where they didn't register. Yeah, Boba, Kazooie. See who gave me a couple people followed. Thank you. Didn't see that. So our next match, or I say we're going into game 3 of that, and then after that, it will be Duck Holidays match. And of course, the 4th B team set was walked over. Jody walked over Mauthu, so Team Supply Block got their game. So at this point, we got Scientology Vessel won the first series with Valor. So now we're at if Boba wins this, then they'll be up 2-0 in the B team matches.
Okay, I'm back.
How your allergies doing? Or allergies, or what is like just the pollen?
Yeah, just allergy and stuff. But it's good.
Cool.
Ready to get into this.
Oh, thank you for the follow. Whoever that was, I can't see in OBS. Okay, BobaLife, thank you for the follow, buddy. All right, so crossing fields. Let's switch out of this Pepe. Oh, and Kekuzi too. Thank you. This Pepe. This I don't know honestly who made this banner. I just think it's funny. It gives me a laugh. But I grabbed it from the CTL Discord. Not CTL. Different league. That's StarCraft 2 league. CPL Discord. And I thought it was hilarious, so that's why I have it there.
Yeah.
I think the first time Paisan saw it, he's like, "What are you putting up there?" I was like, "It's just a meme."
Yeah, I think Bob was talking about in the chat that he thinks his drone count is usually too low. I think the key with that turtling style, turtling with lots of sunkens and good sim city, is it allows you to get that heavy drone count. It allows you to drone heavily without producing a ton of units to defend, and just a lot of good macro hatcheries to block off. And then you just have to drone in while you can, and then it allows you to have pretty powerful economy for just pumping a lot of units once you get that 3rd, 4th base up.
Yeah, I think the main thing there was the 4th, like you said.
Yeah, 4th was definitely later than on Circuit Breaker, and it was, and the 3rd wasn't as SimCity'd.
All right, so
this is going to be Crossing Field is going to be. We'll see how it's different. This is game 3.
Thank you for the follow, Vik7. Appreciate it. Got a couple follows there. I think I only have the Streamlabs up for the transition one, so thanks guys for that. All right, here. For Team Scientology Vessel, the Yellow Protoss, who just tied the series, it's Vik7.
And in the bottom right, crossing field, 2-player map, we've got BobaLife, the purple Zerg for Team Supply Block.
Which she said in the chat is some sort of tea, so I guess that's what it is.
I checked it. It's a bubble tea.
Okay, wow, just major thunderclaps just happened, so hopefully don't lose connection here.
Yeah, hopefully not. So the build that I am no build master. My builds are pretty I don't know the word you'd want to use to describe them, but they're not the best. They're not the crispest.
Subpar.
But subpar. Sure. But I went for the I played PvZ on this map. I went for the Zealot block off on the front and then early expansion to the back. I think that's a good build for us on this. Obviously, mine was not optimized. You can optimize it. But getting that early expansion, and you don't have to build the cannons.
Yeah, so going gate first. Now, I've had some, I think at a higher level, you pretty much have to go gate first on this map, crossing fields. But, I mean, I've pulled off forge first. It's kind of janky because you don't have a full wall. But if you get a zealot out fast enough, it can sort of be okay.
Okay, and we've got a pylon block at the pocket expand for the Zerg. It was a pool first into.
Probe.
Yeah.
Ninja probe just got sniped.
Yep, and we've got. Let's see what he does with this 100 gas. It's gonna be Zergling speed. I'm sure of it. He could go lair for the biggest surprise of all time.
What we have, will it be lair? Nah, he wouldn't go there. That wouldn't make sense, but
yeah, it wouldn't exactly make sense. Although that was my opponent one hatch lair to Spire versus Protoss.
So Vic, his nat is delayed a ton. He's getting 2 zealots out. And a second gateway as well. So this is interesting. He's gonna.
The gas has never been used. I think he decided he wanted to go for a slightly later. He wanted to expand before he went for Zergling speed, I guess. It should be right here then.
And Boba as well, taking her nat at the front. Front. So this is a little bit of a mind games. Will she go 2 base muta, something like that? Zergling speed was not researched. It's a possibility. Some lings skipped in. And yeah, so kind of a weird 2-gate opening. Maybe trying to make some zealot pressure work.
Yeah, obviously, I think you can go forge, like you said, but I think you go gate because you can just block off this ramp. They can try to slip Zerglings by it.
Oops, sorry.
You have to see. You have to see based on you technically can go for tricky stuff like the drone drill. We've seen that before in like high level matches. Okay, and that. Okay. This is interesting. We've got the third being taken by Boba at the 4th usual position. So I sort of like it. If you can defend it, you're in a much better position, and you can expand later to this pocket expand, and you already have 4 bases.
Okay, so I'm a little okay. There's the Zergling speed, and my best guess is that she just missed making it.
This engage is actually good for Boba. It was to start off because we actually had the Zealots not fighting with very good angling, but let's see, does the sunken's gonna finish, so these zealots, they should run into the main, maybe?
Oh, just gonna try to camp out behind the min line.
Okay, behind the minerals. But they have not scouted, they have not gotten in, they can't see that they haven't taken the pocket expand, and they obviously do not know about the 4th base, 3rd base. The 3rd base being taken at the 4th base location.
And she's banking a ton of gas. She's up to 500 gas banked. Is she
that's interesting.
Gonna go mutas? I don't know.
You can. There's no lair on the way, so that'd be a strange decision.
Super fast lurkers? I don't know.
Yeah, but you would have, like, you can't spend any of the gas.
True.
You might as well just be mining the minerals. If you're not gonna get gas units early, you might as well be mining minerals.
Yeah, so I mean, it could just be a kind of an error.
Yeah. Okay, we have the first Corsair about to come out.
And I think this is one of the first Corsairs that has been right on time for Vik. Or not, 6. It's a pretty good timed Corsair.
Mm-hmm.
It's par.
+1 just coming out. +1 just starting.
That is a late +1. Yeah.
Well, the forge was just built. The forge.
Oh, it was.
It was because it was obviously a gateway first build.
It's a double gateway. This is just kind of it's kind of weirding me out. I don't really know what's gonna happen this game.
Yeah, because we have 1,000 gas.
There's the lair.
Okay, where do we have it? I would have done it at the net. I mean, I'm no. Like I just think extra health helps you more there, but it's fine.
I think. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we have 2 Corsairs. He hasn't sent the Corsairs across the map, though. He does not know that Boba is about to be up to 4 bases already. He has not scouted the 4th base location, and he has not scouted the pocket expand in a long time. He's probably going to scout the pocket expand and think, oh man, just taking a 3rd. Oh.
He's going to get caught up on this overload. Okay, now he's going to book it into the main, or not. We'll see.
Yeah, I personally think you scout first and then get overload can.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make that big a difference in this case, but that's the difference between, in some cases, Scourge being out and Scourge not being out. Like, you kill the overlords, then all of a sudden maybe there's Scourge waiting for you.
Yeah,
but not in this case.
That first Corsair, you just need to get it into the main and scout.
Ooh, so that actually supply blocks Boba.
Relatively hard, actually, as well.
Yeah. Okay, but a bunch of overlords just popped somewhere.
Alright, he's coming up with the Corsairs. He might scout this. We'll see. Oh, yeah,
he does.
Just okay.
And healthy drone count and already is sunken there. We've got him moving out with 6 Zealots and a Dragoon. I don't think that's enough. Because all you have to do is send the Zerglings up there and a couple Hydras. Okay, we've got Evolution Chambers morphing. That's not enough units to really take that out. All you have to do is send up these Zerglings.
Yeah, which he's doing preemptively, so...
Plus, we're going to get a semi-block with the Evolution Chambers. This should be defended with proper positioning. It's just such a small group of units.
Zealot's kind of engaging on the Hydras. He's not pulling them back. I don't know.
Yeah,
Slow
maybe
Zealots.
that is enough. I didn't feel like that's how that engagement should have gone.
Yeah, the Hydras should have... The Hydras, there was 0 Hydra micro there. And the morphing Hydras as well, just gonna get slaughtered. Micro mistakes on both sides, but he's clearing up some drones, and that's a huge deal. This is the 4th, though, so... There's a really low unit battle going on here, and
there's a good drone count at the main base, pretty low at the natural, but that was sort of a big deal. Loot having to, you know, no mining going on at this base.
Yeah, Vik's bank starting to bank a little bit now. Doesn't have a ton of gates. He's at 2 gates right now, or actually 3.
Yeah, 3. Yeah,
right.
3. That's very. I mean, 10 minutes. That's low. 4th gate just coming up, and Templar Archives 75% done.
All right.
We've got good probe count. The front natural has I guess a little low probe count, but we're gonna have a 4-base Zerg that we should see droning up pretty heavily at the 3rd and 4th bases soon. Probably taking this gas, and that's gonna be hard. Hopefully we'll see. Hopefully we'll see a lot more gates coming up, and you know, Storm. Okay, yeah, Storm has already started immediately as the Templar Archives finishes. But I really think we gotta see more lurkers. It's such a powerful weapon against heavy zealot armies.
Yeah, crossing fields, good map for it as well. Can really help you divide the map in half, and then Zerg can just expand rampantly.
And these raised ridges.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree with that. If you can like even just setting up some sort of situation outside this area with lurkers and hydras and sniping observers, that kind of thing is really strong. It looks like we're gonna see Vik take a 4th.
Okay, so Vik can appreciate that he's super on. He is, and you know, he's on his expanding, and he does expand often, but his gate count is low, very low, and he's still not putting them any. His gate production is suboptimal because his placement, he doesn't have them all on one screen. I'd say that's, I think, for him to move up a step, that's crucial, getting them all on one screen so you can just tab to one camera hockey, get them all queued up, and you'll be macroing way more efficiently that way.
And we've just got an observer scouting this 4th base, seeing all the movements here. There's no overlords, so. Ooh, we've got a push up from Vik to the 4th base, the 3rd from Boba.
Okay, this is this is a relatively strong push out. It's all going to come down to the Hydra Micro. The Hydra Micro was pretty poor earlier. If he can get enough Hydras up there in this SimCity that he can really funnel the shots in.
I'd like to see Boba not take this fight. I'd like to see him pull back.
Okay, he pulls back, and he's going to lose a few Hydras, but he's going to preserve most of them, which is important. Now he's rallying Hydras up here. Now the Zealots are in range of the Sunken. Hydra's fighting decently. There's more Hydras spawning. This is a pretty good angle. He's attacking his own Evo chamber. Oh, that was so crucial. He's wasted like about 5 rounds there on the Evo chamber that could have been on the Zealots.
An action type move from the ASL.
Yeah.
Shooting at his own Hydralisk den. So it's common even at the pro. Not common, but it happens at the pro level.
He was trying to focus fire, and up until that point, his Hydra Micro was pretty good, and then that happened.
Yeah, and as soon as you've got the Protoss moving ahead on bases of the Zerg, you're in trouble. But we'll see. We'll see. We've still got Vik banking pretty heavily. A lot of units not fighting at the top of the map.
Yeah, I mean, 2K honestly is low for bank for Vik. As far as
yeah.
it's an improvement at least.
+1 carapace going for Boba. Maybe we'll see a last ditch Muta switch. Yeah, we actually are gonna see some Mutas coming out. Maybe we'll. Technically, the front natural, if you can get behind it, is unprotected. Actually, technically, just about every base, the mineral line is not actually protected. It's just around the nexus is protected.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see.
And it looks like there's.
I mean, only a couple mutas, only 3 mutas, and if it gets scouted, then we'll probably see cannons go up in the mineral lines. And like we said, once the reason that I like that move so much, taking that base early is the 3rd, is because it's so hard to actually take this. Again, it's so hard to take this one. Protoss has a standing army. Oh, and the mutas get scouted by an observer. At the top of the map.
I just wanted to point out there's also carriers coming out at this point. As a kind of a backup ace card here. Now,
I'd like to see these mutas come in and attack now, because we're gonna have another cannon coming up back natural, and a 3rd cannon.
They're not really defending most of the probes though, so the mutas could get in some quality shots.
But if he got in right now, he could just dive on top of the cannons and kill them all.
Or that, true. I don't even think he needs to. I think he can just.
Yeah, we've got a full control. We've got a full control group of mutas, but 3 cannons is just gonna make the trade so much less effective.
But I think he can hit 90% of those probes out of the range of the cannons.
Okay, we're about to see the couple Corsairs engage the mutas.
Okay, he's pulling all the mutas back, which I think is a mistake. He's losing time, and will the probes get pulled? They will not. So a full control group of mutas. These are not stacked. They will not be fighting efficiently. They're diving on top of the cannons, and
I think this is fine. He can dive on top of this and force all of these back. And you're gonna need High Templar to take this out, I think, or Archon. And look, he's just gonna take out so many probes right here. These are not pulled.
Yeah, probes getting rolled, but it looks like Boba
might just dive in on the natural.
Yeah, excuse me, Vik might.
Ooh, there's so much like very well done SimCity here, I think.
Yeah, Boba's like, no slouch with SimCity.
Yeah, like look at how these zealots are having to get in to fight these hydras. It's not a massive amount of hydras, but they are very well positioned.
It is a really
so many mutas.
It's a well positioned SimCity, but there's only 2 Sunkens, which is a bit low. And while the Hydra's just Muta's just diving on top and not trading effectively at all. Muta's decimated the 3rd's min line, and they're going to take out the Nexus. Yeah, but honestly, that's maybe too little too late here. Vik's army, he can, well, now that
the army actually hasn't really been rebuilt very heavily. All we really have is a Dragoon Archon with a couple of High Templar. So many, it's almost all Dragoon right now, and he has a carrier.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure. If we saw switch back into Hydras right now, it'd be against full Dragoon army. But I think we're gonna see him tech into Hive. Yeah, he's teching into Hive. Maybe he'll go Guardian or a lot of Zerglings. But he needs to get that he needs to get a 4th up. He's got a big bank, but almost no gas from all those mutas.
Yeah, mutas didn't trade really well there. I think he could have kept quite a bit of them alive. And I know it sounds like I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but Vik is not producing anything out of his gateways right now, and he's got a massive bank.
Oh, let's see this 4th go up for Boba. This Dragoon Archon army is going to head up and deny this. See, if he goes back into producing Hydras, or if we get a bunch of Cracklings, that will take out the Dragoon, but the Archons pose a problem for Zerglings.
The mutas are just camping out of the 3rd. They can dive in on the main. There's nothing stopping them. Vik7.
There is Corsairs. there. 4. Yeah,
just 4. Well, there are going to be more.
Actually, he can dive in. Look at this natural, undefended mineral line. Yeah, the front natural. That's what he should go for.
This is a missed opportunity for him here. And honestly, this shouldn't even
Okay, he is heading in, but the Corsairs are going to decimate these mutas.
Okay, Vik is taking this forward base here, which is never taken. But he allowed the Corsairs and carriers to get up to a number where now the mutas are going to be forced back home, and they're going to get slowly trickled down.
They're so bruised.
Yeah, I've never seen this forward base taken in a series.
I've seen it taken one. Oh, those storm decimating.
Oh no, that was tough to watch.
Yeah, that decimated the Zerg army. Yeah, you know, the storms just really decimate mutas. So. No, I've seen that base taken once in a TVT, the pro level.
Oh yeah, TVT. That, I mean, out of all the matches.
Pretty much any position can be taken. Every position's valuable.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so now this is the final fight here. It's been delayed, or sort of. Vik can't really produce enough at a time to attack with a maxed army.
Yeah, we've got such a weird amount of gates here. We've only got about 8.
And he's not producing out of them. It's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. But we still have him on 4 bases. I'd really like him to see him just pop a bunch of cannons at the he's got 9 cannons at his 3rd base. I'd like to see him drop like 4 at his new 4th base. Okay, we do have him putting 1.
We got the lurker eggs going up, and I think that observer will spot him.
Yep, he does.
Okay, now I think Vik is seriously trying to get a decent amount of carriers out.
I don't know why the army is so far back for Vik. Like you see, he's got this forward base. Actually, there's not many units actually here at this base. Like if Boba just attacks into this base, he can take it out. I think. If the army doesn't move up, but the army is going to move up now.
Yeah. Okay. So finally, the army getting in position, and there's how many carriers are there? There's only 2 out. Yeah, I think Vik, he's going to be able to hold this.
Oh, this is an high temple sitting at the. That guy is a commander high templar or something. Or he's an executor.
How many kills does he have?
18.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we've got Tassadar over here on Vik7's side.
Okay, so the Hydra's just sickly funneling in here.
Okay, he's trying to pull him into the lurkers.
Okay,
let's
so
see.
The lurker
fighting up the ramp is not very good for Vik7. Let's just see. No storms. You want to see storms against this, but there's just so many units for the Brotos.
Okay, so I think Vik7 will pull this off with basically no production.
Okay, wait.
Or not.
There's enough Hydras. There's enough not enough Hydras here. They'll take out their Dragoons.
And the Corsairs getting on some of the OVs, which is nice, but
we'll also see his Corsairs wiped. Okay, this is a back and forth game that you have to say this is quite an entertaining one.
It is. Carriers.
Ooh, but we've got the fifth taken, and the probes transferring up. Really, the issue for Bo in this game is he hasn't been able to take a 4th. And hold a 4th. If he's able to take and hold that 4th, his battles have actually gone better for him, other than the one with the incredible storm. Other than that, I would say Boba has won a lot of the fights.
Well, I mean, he's won a lot of the fights because the army isn't where it should be for Vik. He's not attacking with all of his units at the same time. But he's really trying to make this carrier thing work. He's committed to it. He's got about 5 carriers out, a few more being produced, and he's
got +1 plasma shields and +2 air attack.
Can you guys hear the rain? I'm sorry.
No,
Okay, good.
I don't hear that.
The mic.
Okay, he's really cannoning up his new fifth. He hasn't technically he could retake that back natural, but not many minerals. The gas is limited. Okay, here we go. We've got big fight. Let's see. I don't like this positioning for Boba.
Yeah, that was weird. That was pretty weird.
Yeah, we've just got so many carriers here. It might just work based off of, because we've kind of just got the carriers picking off whatever.
GG is called, and it looks like Vik7 will win that series 2-1. Good try, Boba. I think.
Very interesting, entertaining games, that series. So.
Yeah, I think both these players were doing aspects right pretty well. I think Boba's macro was pretty decent, and Vic's expanding was on top of it, and he in some games he produced enough. It's just the late game that he struggled. But so both these players have a lot to button up, but that's the point of CPL is sharpening your game with your coaches and getting better.